Imagine you're walking through the woods when a snake suddenly bites your leg. The pain is immediate. Your heart starts racing. You look down and watch two tiny puncture marks begin to swell. The snake slithers into the trees. Most people would run toward the nearest hospital. But imagine you do the opposite. You chase it, you run through branches, across rocks, ignoring the pain spreading through your leg. Eventually, you catch up. You're exhausted, breathing heavily. You look the snake in the eyes and ask, "Why did you bite me?" The snake doesn't answer. It simply stares before disappearing into the trees once again. And suddenly, you realize something. You're the one who's still bleeding. That story isn't really about a snake. It's about us. When someone hurts us, our first instinct usually isn't to heal. It's to understand. Why did they leave? Why did they lie? Why did they betray me? Why wasn't I enough? We convince ourselves that somewhere hidden inside the answer is the thing we've been looking for all along: peace. We tell ourselves, once I understand, I'll finally be able to move on. For years, that feels true until one realization changes everything. The thing that wounded you cannot become the thing that heals you. But that's exactly what we keep asking it to do. Deep down, we aren't chasing the snake because we're curious. We're chasing it because we believe it owes us something: an apology, an explanation, a reason, something that makes the pain feel fair. Because if we could just understand, maybe the wound would finally stop hurting. But some answers only explain the wound. They don't heal it. Imagine someone steals your wallet. You spend the next 10 years trying to understand why. Maybe they grew up with nothing. Maybe they were desperate. Maybe they made one terrible decision. Understanding their story might satisfy your curiosity, but it doesn't put your wallet back in your pocket. Some explanations change the story. They don't change the outcome. Psychologists have noticed something interesting. Our brains hate unfinished stories. When something painful ends without an explanation, our minds keep trying to finish it. We replay conversations, imagine different endings, rewrite arguments in the shower. Not because it feels good, but because uncertainty feels unbearable. The brain mistakes understanding for healing. Those aren't the same thing. Every afternoon, a woman walks to her mailbox. She opens it, empty. Tomorrow, she checks again. A week later, again. Months later, again. Years pass. The mailbox begins to rust. The apology never arrives. One morning, she realizes something that changes everything. She wasn't waiting for a letter. She was waiting for permission to heal. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Not why did this happen, but where does healing actually come from? Because while we were chasing the snake, something else had been waiting the entire time. Imagine the hospital was only a few minutes away. The doctors were ready. The medicine was there. The antidote had been sitting on the shelf all along. Hours later, you finally arrive. The doctor examines your leg, looks back at you, and quietly asks, "Where have you been?" You answer, "Looking for the snake." The doctor nods, then says, "The good news? We can still save your leg. The bad news? You waited much longer than you needed to." That line isn't really about a snake bite. It's about years spent waiting for one conversation, one apology, one explanation, one final answer. Years believing someone else held the key to your healing. The truth is, maybe you'll never know why they hurt you. Maybe they don't even know. Maybe they'll never apologize. Maybe they'll never admit they were wrong. Maybe they'll never think about what happened the way you do. That's one of the hardest truths a person can accept, because part of us believes healing should come from the person who caused the pain. Unfortunately, life rarely works that way. Imagine one day, the snake finally comes back. It explains everything. It tells you exactly why it bit you. Maybe it even apologizes. You'll still need the hospital, because explanations don't neutralize venom. Moving on doesn't begin when the snake explains itself. Healing begins the moment you stop believing it has to. Maybe the snake was never running away. Maybe you were, running from the only place healing was ever going to happen. Because the question was never, "Why did the snake bite me?" The question was always, "Where do I go from here?" One question keeps your eyes on the snake. The other leads you toward the hospital. Maybe you'll always wonder why it happened. That's human. But don't spend so long chasing the snake that you forget to treat the wound. Because some answers explain the wound, they don't heal it. The snake can't heal the bite. It never could. So stop chasing it. The hospital has been waiting for you the whole time. Until next time, stay curious and a little less clueless.